Hello, my name is David Crawford, and I would like to make you welcome to watch a short PowerPoint about Etelä-Tapiolan IB. We've had an open day on 2 occasions. We've had an information evening, but not everybody was able to get there, and applications will be made during February and March. And in order to facilitate your application to finish IB schools, particularly this one, I'd like to give you a brief guide to first the IB and secondly to Etelä-Tapiolan or Etis as we know it. During Lukio in Finland is 3 years in duration, and in the first year we follow the Finnish national curriculum, offering courses in English instead of Finnish, before embarking upon the 2-year journey with the IB program. These are the subjects which are on offer during the pre-DP year. So there will be at least 1, maybe 2, 3 or 4 study units in each of these subjects during that foundation year. A whole range of subjects then. Swedish is compulsory for students who have studied Swedish in lower secondary school for at least a year, 2 years. French is optional. It's not required to take it during the pre-DP year, but you might like to, and this will be at beginner level. But as you can see here, we have art and music and physics and science, history. We have a whole range of subjects on offer to build a really strong foundation. We have a boot camp, as we call it, and this is an opportunity at the end of the first week of the pre-DP year to go out into the forest, breathe the fresh air, meet with others studying in the same year group, spend time with the study guidance counselor, the coordinator, the homeroom teacher, simply getting to know each other, playing games, walking, and eating around an open fire. The IB, of course, is what the diploma program is all about, and this is the IB mission, which we have signed up for in Etis, just as in every other IB school in the world beyond. It's aspirational, of course. We aspire to, we aim high in terms of academic development, personal growth, but also in terms of the way in which we contribute in our small way, small but nevertheless significant way, to building a better world and taking our place in that world. To this end, we have the learner profile, which you can see here. These are the attributes in the learner profile, and it's our task as teachers, as a school, to help students to deepen their ability to express themselves as inquirers, as thinkers, as being knowledgeable, better communicators, opportunities to broaden minds, take risks, and so on. So all of these, we'd like to think over a 3-year period, students can engage with the learner profile and deepen their commitment to working on these different aspects of personal growth, which will of course serve them well in an academic environment in university, but also in life beyond upper secondary school education. The diploma program can be seen in this chart, at a glance with the learner in the middle. Our approaches, every school has a distinct approach to teaching and learning, which is articulated within each school. The core curriculum, which runs around that, I'll say a little bit more about the core curriculum. You can see extended essay, creativity, action service, theory of knowledge. The subject areas, and I'll talk more about the subject groups. I'll talk more about the subjects which we offer in Etis in just a little while. And encompassing all of that is the international mindedness, that international outlook that we share within the school. The core curriculum then is divided into 3 parts. This is going to be an assessed component with the IB, or at least partially so. The creativity, action, and service component won't be assessed, although there is an expectation that every student will engage with it. And the basic idea is that they should be fostering their skills of creativity, action, and service. Creativity in terms of, well, perhaps most readily springs to mind art work, but it could equally be music or dance or any other creative writing, any other creative aspect. Activity suggests movement and probably does involve some commitment to a sporting activity or a hobby, and service to the school, service to the local community, service to the international community through fundraising for the Red Cross or something like that. So basically, the idea here with the CAS program, as it is called, is to get involved with things outside of the classroom. It's not just about sitting in the classroom. It's not just about swatting through one's assignments. It's about actually thinking about the world in which we live and finding ways to explore that world creatively through activity or through service. TOK, theory of knowledge. How do we know about the world around us? How do we know that when somebody makes a statement that statement is true? How do we distinguish between fake news and genuine news? These are just some of the aspects which students will learn to grapple with in theory of knowledge. They'll be producing an essay. They'll be curating objects, perhaps digital objects, in an exhibition, which will take on board some of these larger questions that transcend individual subject boundaries. So TOK is something very, very special and quite precious within the program. And at the top there, we have the extended essay, the EE, as we know it for short. And this is an essay of a student's choice, 4,000 words in length, on any topic and any question that the student feels that they would like to answer, through conducting detailed research with proper citation, referencing, and everything else. It's a major undertaking. It's certainly the biggest piece of academic work that students will have engaged with until now, and it's an excellent preparation for university studies. Beyond the core, we have these different subject groups. The languages in group 1 and 2. The A languages are the mother tongues, mother tongue languages available to students. The B languages are at intermediate level. The ab initio languages are at beginner level. And on top of that, we also have the humanities, group 3. My name is David Crawford. I'm not just the IB DP coordinator, but also the history teacher in Etis. Sciences, You'll see that they're either at SL standard level or HL. Many subjects are available at both levels. L is studied in less depth than at HL. So the higher level subjects are the ones which students are particularly passionate about, perhaps pursuing one of these subjects at university, or perhaps it relates to a chosen career. Many people have no real idea about what they want to do when they have finished Lukio, upper secondary school education, and that's fine. The great thing about the diploma program is that it builds a broad foundation so that every student will be studying 2 languages, every student will be studying a humanities subject, every student will study a science, and every student will be studying mathematics. And we have 2 different kinds of mathematics here, both at SL and HL: applications, interpretations, analysis, and approaches. I'll come to the difference between them very briefly later on. And last but not least, we have arts. We have visual arts in group 6. Students will select at the end of, or let's say, 3/4 of the way through the pre-DP year, they will select the subjects which they intend to be studying during the diploma program itself. Here it is then. This is really a repetition of what I have just said in terms of what the requirements are. The only exception to this is a student who is applying for medical school and for whom 3 sciences are necessary. It is possible to apply for what is called a non-regular diploma, and this will exempt that student from studying a humanities subject and thereby opening up the possibility to studying instead all 3 sciences. But that's a very unique set of circumstances that applies only to 1 or 2 students per year. In group 1, we also have what are called the school-supported self-taught languages, which is a bit of a mouthful, but basically the idea is very simple, that students who are native speakers of other languages than Finnish and English should have the opportunity to study their own mother tongue as part of the diploma, whether that mother tongue be Russian or Chinese or Afrikaans or Bengali or whatever it might be. So many languages are offered by the IB. These are the knowledge of the language needs to be very detailed. It needs to be a strong language. There has to be native level proficiency. It's not about speaking the language as such. It's about analyzing works of literature and writing about works of literature within this target language. And this is available only at standard level, not at higher level. Every self-taught, school-supported student will nonetheless require a language tutor. A tutor will have to be recruited to assist in the process, because obviously we don't have the expertise within the school to assist with so many tens, even hundreds of languages which might be available. So this is the way it works. And typically in a typical year, we will have 4 or 5, maybe more students studying their own native tongue as part of the IB package. Moving on from there, this is a reference to the 2 kinds of mathematics. There's applications and there's analysis, and what is the difference between them? In fact, you'll find far more information on the IB webpage, so I won't go into any detail here, but applications is more, as the title suggests, applied to the real world, whereas analysis may be more abstract in content, albeit that there are real world applications as well. Applications standard level is the easiest option, shall we say, for somebody who does not wish to specialize in mathematics. Somebody who may be a little bit weaker in mathematics would probably manage okay with application standard level. Analysis is that much more demanding, and of course the HL subjects, the higher level subjects in whatever that subject may be, will inevitably be more challenging than the standard level. A myth buster, briefly, just to say that these are myths that get bandied around. You hear them quite a lot, and they don't make any sense. They're not actually true at all. Do you have to have an international background? No, you don't. You can have an entirely Finnish background, and you can thrive upon the program. Is it only for the brightest and the best? No, it's not. It's for, I would suggest, average, better than average students who are not afraid of a challenge, who are quite ambitious in terms of the goals which they set themselves. But it certainly does not require them to be the brightest and the best, although we like to think that we can challenge even the brightest and the best and help them make the most of themselves during the program. This old chestnut about choosing between the IB and having a life, well, the good news is that it's quite feasible to have both and to enjoy both. And many of our final year students, when they're asked how would they describe the IB in 3 adjectives, the adjectives tend to be positive ones: challenging, and I take that to have positive connotations, enjoyable, interesting, fun, sometimes stressful, perhaps particularly, I guess, there are times in the year when it can be more stressful, and this is where good time management really pays dividends. And do the IB students live in a bubble unto themselves and have nothing to do with the students on the national line? In the school altogether, we have something like 550 students in total, and basically every 5th student that you pass in the corridors will be an IB student or a pre-DB student, and the rest will be studying in the Finnish national line. Every event in the school is meant for students, for all students. We have an inclusive environment. We don't divide into 2 lines, into 2 categories, and it's a single community, and it's gratifying to see how many of the IB students have good friends on the national side, and of course vice versa. Why choose Etis? Why would you choose to join us? Well, you've seen the course tray, which is growing. Next year we'll be offering beginner level Spanish, for example, whereas we have not had beginner level courses on offer within the school before. The community is growing. Just 3 years ago, we had only an admission of only 30 students per year, and now it's 50 per year. International education has been offered in Etis since the mid-1990s, and therefore I think we know what we are doing, albeit that we only joined the IB family about 12 years ago. The success rate for our graduates is impressive, and indeed the most impressive results that we have achieved to date were gained in extraordinary circumstances during the pandemic in May 2021. The 3rd floor of the school is one large open space, and it provides opportunities for learning which a traditional classroom does not possess. And now we are currently piloting work with 3D goggles, for example. So in this sense, we really are entering the 3rd dimension. The school has a long tradition of engagement with the surrounding community. We have an excellent relationship with Aalto University, for example, and this will continue. Also worth knowing then briefly that we have an exchange program which is digital at the moment, but hopefully will become a physical student exchange program in the months ahead. We have a debating club which has scored notable successes over the years and is always seeking new members. We have an active book club. We have a sustainable development group that's been doing excellent work and will continue to do so. So you're welcome to join its activities. We have guest lecturers from the world of business and politics, the media, high profile figures who join us in the school to deliver a lecture and to engage in discussion with students. We have a very energetic student council. The student council voice will be heard in every major decision that's made in the school. Likewise, the Parents Association has been doing great work in fundraising for various activities, particularly social events, as we've all been in isolation and now are emerging once more. An exchange year is possible at the end of the pre-DP year. If somebody's thinking, well, I'd like to be an exchange student, can I do that? When can I do it? Yes, you can, and if you do it between the pre-DP year and the IB proper, then the timing would be excellent. Life after Etis. Here are just some of the subjects which students have gone on to study in university. As you can see, I ran out of space, but quite an array of different subjects which they're studying, perhaps in Finland or elsewhere in Europe, in the US, Canada, New Zealand, India. Off the top of my head, I'm just trying to remember where students have gone, but all over the world. The applications, finally, just to say that all applications to pre-DP must be processed through Opintopolku or Study Info, which is the English language page. We do get quite often asked whether there is an entrance test, and there is not. There used to be, but we have discontinued that practice, and therefore if applying from a Finnish school, the grade point average is all important, and if applying from a non-Finnish school, then the latest school report plus a teacher appraisal plus an application form is required. And it's also important to indicate on the study information application that this is an application from outside of Finland. You can see our webpage for further detail. You can see my contact email address at the bottom. My phone number is on the webpage. So if there are questions which I've not been able to deal with in making my presentation, questions that remain, then please get in touch with me. I'll be very happy to try and answer those questions. And finally, let me say thank you for listening to this brief presentation, and a warm welcome to Etis. Thank you very much.